I'd like to invite Yvette Couch-Lewis to come to the table to speak to us regarding item 5, the Whakaraupo Littleton Harbour Catchment Management Plan. Yvette and the team, welcome to the table, and you have 10 minutes this morning to address us about the Whakaraupo Catchment Management Plan.
Ko poho tamate pokai whenua te mauka. Ko whakadaupo te moana. Ko te raki whakaputa te marae. Ko Yvette Couch-Lewis ahau. Tēnā koe, Andrew Turner, tēnā koutou, councillors. I'd like to introduce to you from my right, I have Andrew Scott from Te Hapua Ngāti Wheke Rapaki. To my left, Pam Richardson representing the Banks Peninsula Zone Committee and the Community Board, and behind me over to the right is Calvin McMillan, Christchurch City Council staff. Well, kia ora, and thank you for the opportunity to address you today on the Whakaraupo Littleton Harbour Catchment Plan. As the chairperson for the Partners Governors, we are asking Christchurch City Council approving the catchment plan for publication. Can I guide? Could I, next slide please. Just some background. The Littleton catchment plan came about through the Littleton Port Recovery Plan, where the commissioners committed Christchurch City Council and Environment Canterbury, Te Runanga o Naitau and Littleton Port Company and Rapaki to work together to create a catchment plan that is based on the philosophy of ki te kitai and to restore the ecological and cultural health of Whakadaupo. At the time also, when those partners did come together, an MOU was then signed with those partners for a commitment to a 3-year period ending in 2018, plus additional resourcing where required to develop the catchment plan for its initial implementation. Slide 3, please. These notes brief councillors on the proposed publication for that Whakadaupo Catchment Management Plan, or its known name is Whakaora Healthy Harbour Ki Te Kitai. A delegate for each of the partners, once you have agreed to sign off this catchment plan for publication, will sign the catchment management plan at a launch event on the 7th of March 2018 at Rapaki, and we hope that the councillors are able to attend that event. Partners have been approved for the plan for publication have been Environment Canterbury, Rapaki, Te Runanga o Naitau and Littleton Port Company, including the Banks Peninsula Community Board who have adopted and approved this plan to go forward to Council. Next slide please. The outline of the catchment plan, because the commissioners at the time of the Port Recovery Plan had given a clear direction in terms of mahinga kai and ki te kitai, as this slide is showing you, that the one thing that Rapaki was really concerned about at the time was, along with the community within Whakadaupo, was the health of the harbour and looking at restoring the mahinga kai. And may I just say that when we talk mahinga kai, the community values, along with the values from Te Hapu and Ngāti Wheki, are similar. We are all the same when we talk mahinga kai. And that is the main message that is coming through in this plan. So the kaupapa for the plan coming through, looking at the goals, we wanted abundant, healthy and connected mahinga kai. We want to be connected to that kai. Everybody wants to go down into that harbour and to be able to fish and to be able to feed their grandchildren, their mokopuna. How did we get those information? As you can see over to my right is that we got science advice, we engaged with the community and we sought advice from Raupaki with our tangatiaki. From that, then looking at Kita Kitai, we then looked at aspirational future state of the harbour, what we wanted the harbour to look like. This document is actually an aspirational plan. It is not a regulatory plan. It is an aspirational plan that works on the positive in terms of what this community wants to be able to achieve in the future and ongoing generations. It looked at key focus areas immediate, which came from the science group and from tangatiaki and the community that were preventing us, even though that's a negative, but they were preventing us from being able to achieve our goals. And that was sedimentation, erosion and pollution, looking at the biodiversity for the terrestrial and the marine. And then from that, looking again from Kita Kitai, from the crater rim down to the middle of the harbour, we then did the bands that came on down and we looked in there in terms of what we want the rocky outcrops to look like with our forested areas right into the middle of the harbour. From there, we then did the actions in terms of the programs that we were looking at that would actually enable us to deliver. More importantly, in the urban areas where people live in Littleton, we'll be able to see where they sit in those bands and we'll start to plant native trees and we'll start to encourage that bird life. Next slide, please. So so then the benefits of this plan, the plan will be implemented by the partners, so yourselves as a partner, other organisations and the community to develop programs of work and programs for 2018 and beyond to work towards achieving the kaupapa or the purpose of the plan. It sets a way forward for the entire harbour community to ensure that ecological and cultural health of Whakaraupō are restored for future generations. The key thing here is that normally that the agencies would have pilot programs or they would have a main program that they would support. This is about giving it back to the community, recognising that there is a lot of really good community work that is happening within Whakaraupō. We recognise that, we acknowledge it and we encourage it to move forward. It also encourages to bring on new projects to enable that harbour to be able to get the Māori back into it so that we as a full community are able to enjoy enjoy the harbour. Next slide, please. The implementation of the plan. So the plan is developed. I've shown you quickly and briefly how we developed that aspirational plan. We are now at that stage of implementation. Once you have signed off and we have done the launch on the 7th of March, we then need to be able to implement it. We need to hand it back to the community, and you as a partner need to be able to oversee that and encourage and support that. So with the approval of the management plan for publication, we will move into that strategic development stage into implementation. The role of the partners and the long-term leadership for the implementation of the catchment plan is under consideration. We, Andrew Turner and myself and the governors are all working to look at what that model might look like. This is a new model. We are moving into something different, where partners are actually giving it back into the community. The most significant risk, though, because we must watch risk all the way through, and we have had that right alongside us, the governors, looking at those risks, is that looking at the project is around the implementation of the plan, in particular securing additional funding to commence more projects in the third stage. The partners MOU also supported looking at the funding of projects going on out to 2021. And this is where the importance of Christchurch City Council as a partner comes in. You have got the wastewater project, over millions of dollars that are going into that now removing that out of Whakataupo. You have the stormwater project that is coming in the small communities. That is critical. That is your contribution as a partner that you are contributing to this plan. That is the beginning. That is what we need. We need you as a partner within there to look at those larger infrastructure type areas. That is already committed in your long-term plan. Next slide, please. The significance of engagement. The Partners Working Group undertook significant consultation. The result from this consultation, being feedback received on the draft version of the plan, was extremely supportive and with only minor changes sought. The local community and stakeholders are eager to move on from the development stage into its implementation. We have the support, and we are wanting you to be able to sign off this document for publication, so that, and may I also add that once it does go out to out for publication, the one thing that has been noted about this plan is that it will more than likely be seen nationally because of the change that is there, of the kaupapa Māori theme that is right across this plan. It's one of the first that has actually been written, and such an aspirational plan that is driven by the community. Next slide, please. So I'd like to be able to thank you for your ongoing support and commitment as a partner, and we hope that you will, Andrew, be able to have this catchment plan all signed off. Any questions, please?
So Yvette, thank you very much indeed for the presentation, a very concise presentation around obviously what's a large and detailed document. We have in front, so we'll move to questions in just a moment. We have in front of us a recommendation from the Banks Peninsula Community Board. Pam, did you want to make any comment alongside what Yvette has already told us about this item this morning?
Well, I think that we need to be looking this as a change maker. All through the working through of the workshops that were held, we heard many conversations, we listened to many people, we heard Environment Canterbury saying it was a new way of doing things. So I think we need to be looking at, yes, this is going to be a change maker, and to make a change maker work, we all have to get in behind it. So, I mean, the board is totally supportive of this aspirational plan. We must actually recognise that things cannot be all done tomorrow, that yes, it is over a time frame, and that we as members of that community have to change how we look at things, how we deal with things, and we all have a part to play.
Great, thank you very much. Now, I will allow a couple of questions for Yvette if people have got questions for Yvette. Jimmy?
Only simple question. I review the key point 3.5. Where about the difference between those two versions? Before consultation and after consultation, where about we can see from the attachment A?
Are you referring, Jimmy, to attachment to 3.5 and
the
board
right.
notes?
I just want to know, because probably mention have a minor amendment, where about we can see?
It's in the paper.
All right, so that's in our own council paper. That, Jimmy, might be a question better put to our staff than to Yvette, who's come here with a deputation this morning. So if you want to hold that as a question for staff, that would be appropriate. Are there any further questions for Yvette? All right, Yvette and the team, thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning and for the presentation. What I'd now like to do is to invite staff to the table. So if you'd like to take a seat in the public gallery, that would be great. And I'd now like to invite staff to the table.